Hi, my name's Pharaoh, and today we're going to continue on with the class challenge, and I'm going to go straight into it. I've got a limited time today. I've only got a couple of hours, so I've got an alarm set to make sure that I don't overstay my welcome, and I've got an alarm set to remind me that I haven't got an awful lot of time in the middle to do a discussion. But I've got a discussion lined up, which is what on earth is happening with Switch, because I'm a bit confused, but we'll go into that when we get to the hour mark or roughly then. So, class challenge. Also got an on-screen reminder to get out of chat when when I don't want chat. So let's go here.
Axon Ignition says,
Hi Ignition, hi Gravnaut. Good to see both of you. Farah. Right, so where we left it last time was I just got my S-Class everything, and I was going to start working towards getting hyperdrive and possibly getting the
Axon Ignition says, Oops, missed the O.
it's okay. I'm going to try and work towards getting the what's it called, the warp hypercore. Would not come to me. Right, so first off, one thing I did between last time and this time is I kind of tidied up some of the things that were in my inventory that I wanted to use for nanites. So I had a few things that I'd grabbed, I've sold for nanites, and I have now got 6,000 nanites. But they were all things in my inventory. I haven't really done anything. I just stood here and tidied things up a bit. I can't remember if we already checked here for hyperdrive modules. I think we might have done. We want really good ones now. We want S-Class hyperdrive modules, and they don't have any. So we'll have to have a look around. So first things first, let's go and get some decent hyperdrive modules. Oh, I know the other thing we need to do. We need to install, which we haven't got at the moment. Let's go to the anomaly. That's the first thing we'll do. Go to the anomaly, because we can now buy all technology, including S-Class technology. Which means that theoretically we can get the indium drive. Because we've already got some indium squirreled away somewhere.
Axon Ignition says, is today a short stream?
Yeah, it should be around about 2 hours. Mostly because my wife's got a day off and we were planning on going somewhere in the afternoon, so 2 hours is still not a short stream, but it's shorter. Right, so this is going to be the best use of my current nanites, I reckon. First of all, I want to get down to the indium drive, so grab that. Oh, it's doing that thing where it kicks you out again. Grab that. Still kicking me out. I'm pressing the button it tells me, but it doesn't work. So we're going to need to get some emerald. So I'm probably going to need to put that in. Unless we look around for some activated emerald in the anomaly thing. Might be worth getting that now. Might be worth, probably worth getting that. Although getting the Walker brains might be a little bit tricky, but thank you. Probably worth getting that. I don't really have any restrictions. I could just get everything I might need. Not. Oh, I suppose I could get that. Not that bothered about how fast I'm flying, but I do like the instability drive. I'm so used to flying with it. Whether I'll actually get... let's grab it. We've got enough nanites. There's anything else. The efficient launch for us is probably a good idea. Auto charge. Probably the non-linear optics. Right, that'll do for now. I'm tempted to get an exocraft because if we're going to use the...
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
What was that? Have I got something in the background? I don't know what that was. Keep my earphone out for a second just to see if I hear a strange message. I think it might have been...
Axon Ignition says, did Cleo say something?
I think it might have been... I think it might have been... the woman who will not be named that runs the automated Amazon-based... the automated Amazon-based web service stroke home controller suddenly clicked in. I must have said something that sounded a bit like her name. I'm not
Axon
paying
Ignition
attention
says,
here.
Pharaoh, that's the bank calling to tell you you've won the lottery.
I better immediately dial the number they suggest or press the button they suggest if that's the case. Because that wouldn't be a scam at all. Why am I just scrolling through aimlessly? That's all I want. Get that. And we'll also get that which we can't use yet. Because if we're going to actually make hypercores, then we're going to need that. Now I know we can't use this terminal, but I like using it to tell where we are on the list, which is something we could do anyway. So I just need to get the Atlas Pass 2 and then the Warp Hypercore. So I've got to find a couple of different factories. Let's see if there's collect activated emerald here. You never know. Not at the moment, there isn't. It's always worth checking. And I could work my way up to emerald, I suppose. It might be a bit tiresome, but it doesn't take that long, really. Maybe we'll do that. So where's the... That's the cadmium drive. We've got the stuff for that. So we're going to need to go to the next colour up, but let me just check to see what we've got. Yeah, we've got copper and indium. Let's put those in the starship. So let's very quickly run through to get the indium drive because it's worth it, I think. So, 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 first off, we want to go to a red system. has no fuel. Okay. How much fuel have we got? 17%. What do we have? We've got ability to make a bit of antimatter. Let's make 4. We've got enough for 4 of those. Split these just in case, because there's a bit of a glitch occasionally where it doesn't charge fully. Right, so red system. That will do. I don't care what type of system it is. Normal cadmium, which is some here. In fact, theoretically, if we put the drive in now, and we've got it pinned, make sure it is locked, yeah. Will it just do a direction for us so we don't even have to worry about looking too hard? Really don't like these planets. I mean, I like the look of them. I just don't like being on them very much. They feel quite oppressive when you haven't got decent... Yes, it does find it for me. So 732... 520. How much do I need again? I need 250. Kind of thing I end up doing on expeditions, just quickly rushing through to get everything. Not charged, of course nothing's charged because I've recently changed it. Recharged. Let's get about 100 and then we'll... I don't really want to burn my thingy. I haven't got a large refiner. Maybe that's something we should get as well. Get a refiner on our freighter, or just on our base. And we could do the loop. Worry about getting any more.
Good morning, Pharaoh and chat.
Hi Grumpy, good to see you. Then we wouldn't have to worry about getting any chromatic. We've got 237. Should be just looking in the screen.
Good morning, NMS.
Alright, just a little bit more, just in case we ever need it, but I doubt we will. Starship. Cadmium drive built. Where is it? Oh, Indian. Now, I've been told that they no longer work the same. So let's just see if the hyperdrive range changes. 268. If we just move that out, 255. Is that because I haven't got that installed yet? We'll find out in a minute. Right, so we want to go to green system. There's one. mineral, that'll do. While we're here, how are we doing for uranium? Probably do with getting a bit more. I'm not growing any plants to make it that way. It's nice to have an advanced mining laser at last. And get a flying pet while we're here. We're right in the middle of a... Let's get out of this radiation trap. Why is that not doing a search for emerald? Are we just too far away? Go over there and get that, and then we'll scan from over there. Odd. Could have just flown over there with our new pet. More than one stack, so that should be okay. Right. Now it's connecting, so it must have just been too far away. Odd. Maybe it was just lagging behind like it sometimes does. Get that one because sometimes they're rare and don't spawn very often.
Radiation protection falling units.
You never know, I might want to get everything else in a minute. So it looks like it might be flyers only. Flying, and there's underground. Only uncommon, but and a rare. Maybe we won't worry about this planet. Where was that? Realise I've only got 3 hit points at the moment. Let me just eat something. If I've got some food. One more. Just goes to show how little time I've spent on planets in this. Running around planets, rather. So we're at 250, and we need just a little bit more, just in case we ever need some. Not too much, because we probably never will. That'll do. Where's my hole? Dig our way out.
Radiation protection falling.
Right, let's see if this changes. So 267. Actually, let's go out and go in back in, because sometimes that can confuse things. So 267, 255. So all three do seem to be contributing. Put that there for now. So next, we don't have a space station in this system, so let's go to our furthest point towards the centre that we got to from the black holes. What's that Indian planet? Was that a hot planet, I think? So if we get the hot protection. I don't remember if we got the exosuit protections. Let's just double check. Exocraft, rather. No, we didn't. So let's get that. I don't need it here. I want to check to see if I still have that second hermetic seal. I believe I did, rather than build one. Yes, we do. And let's go to... Oh, actually, let's double check what we did build. Okay. we have any more?
Axon Ignition says, rumor has it that Murray's so busy playing Cosmos that he forgot to send out the update.
No, he's either playing No Man's Sky 2016 or he's playing Light No Fire. Additional storage. And we want the... We've got the refiner room already. Don't really need the appearance modifier. Could possibly do with that, but maybe it's just unnecessary at this stage. We could do with that. At least in yellow systems we'd be able to call the ship in. And we had that already. That's just an expansion. Maybe we don't need anything else. Maybe we'll just... Mind you, I am tempted to get that. So let's get that, just in case we need it later. So it looks like we can actually build a refiner room. Which means we can do... How much gold have we got? We've got a little bit of gold. How much silver have we got? We got a little bit of silver. And where's the indium gone? Start making plenty of chromatic metal because we're going to need it. And
Foof NMS says, got a bug out, my turn to drive.
cheerio, Grumpy, good to see you. Thanks for popping in at least. Right, so what are we? Where have we got to on our plan? We've got plenty of stuff to make warp drives. We'd quite like to... Have we got any charts left? Green charts. I think we might have used them all. Yeah, we have. Let's put that in the starship. Put that in the starship. So, space station. Any space station, but we'll go to the furthest. Black Hole, which should have BHD3 on it. BHD2 and 1. Why is it missing? BHD2. BHD3, I missed it. There it is. So the method we're going to use to get to the center is the jump black hole method. So just to demonstrate that, you can see what we're trying to achieve. We'll go into the galaxy map. We will use the galactic core path. And we'll follow towards the core We'll see how far we can actually jump. At the moment we can't jump very far because we haven't got any. And then we'll look for the furthest available black hole that we can jump to. So we can get to that one. It says we visited that one. So I suspect we did jump through one further than 3. So let's go through that anyway again. We'll probably be retracing our steps. But the idea is you jump to the closest black hole that you can reach towards the centre, which jumps you some distance. And then you go through the black hole, which will jump you closer but somewhere else around the galaxy. It always jumps you closer. There's an average, but I can't remember exactly what it is. Sorry if that's pixelated your screens a bit, because that's the one I haven't ever adjusted. I don't know if it even can be. Right, so now theoretically we must have already been through here. Yeah, we have. And then because we've already been through that one, I'm just going to follow my path I must have already travelled, just so we get as far as we can, and then we'll make BHD 4. So we've got a marker of how far we've got.
Axon Ignition says, when you explained the black holes, it was a revelation. I wondered why I was on the other side of the galaxy.
Yes, it's just black holes have almost been kind of neglected now. It just feels like they're no longer as big a part of the game. But the whole point of the Atlas path is to introduce you to black holes. I've still got any warp fuel left, but it should be a little bit more efficient now. So it doesn't look like we've travelled very far here. So this might be as far as we've got. So we might be able to get there. No, not quite. It does have no fuel. So the other thing that putting extra modules in will give us is more efficiency when we're jumping. So it's not using as much fuel. So let's see if we can find some hyperdrive stuff now. And we'll rename this system. BHD 4. It's not the 4th that one, but it's the 4th in our tracking. I'm not going to track all of them, but this helps because we're probably going to jump around. I want to be able to come back to here. Have you got any S-Class? Yes, you have. Excellent.
Received.
What else have you got?
Axon Ignition says, Yo Cleo didn't read the above out.
Probably it was too long. I responded to it.
Ignition says, when you explained the black holes, it was a revelation. I wondered why I was on the other side of the galaxy.
I think it counted the emoji at the end as a word, because I've got it on. If you use 24 words, I think it's 24, then it won't read it out unless I actually manually click on it. I'm even looking at these just in case. I suppose you never know. I might get a really.
Axon
See, that's a really nice.
No, there's another message in between.
I'm going to give myself a bit more space here. Actually, no, I'll give myself a bit of space here. Just unpin this thing that's coming up here. I don't want that on there. some of my silver, which I'm probably burning up at the moment. I have to keep an eye out for silver. He hasn't got any.
Grafnaut says, Axe on ignition. I don't see another message between the yo and when you messages.
Yeah, I don't know what didn't get read out. Ah. Can't remember what dirty bronze refines to, but it might be silver. It's either silver or gold. Silver, there we go.
Axe on ignition says, yuck, I think YouTube filtered me.
Maybe, I don't know. Did you say something that YouTube doesn't approve of?
Black holes have been neglected, Murray. Oh, just you wait. Here comes Cosmos.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. These kind of things could be, in a Cosmos update. Is that a, No. I was imagining it. I was thinking I was looking at a, an exotic landing behind there.
Axe on ignition says, that's what I said, just retyped it without the quotation marks.
Fair enough.
Technology recharged.
And that one needs silver as well, and needs a bit of ammonia, which we don't seem to have. So I won't put it there yet. I suppose I could dehydrate that. I can't remember how we dehydrate it now. Is it with oxygen or? No. Is it with its own? Can't remember. I'll have to look it up. Unless someone remembers. What do we add to that to get the ammonia? I know it's something simple. My ship.
Axe on ignition says,
I tried oxygen just then, didn't I?
Axe on ignition says, oxygen.
Oxygen.
Brian 9000 says,
Salt, of course it is. Thank you, Brian, and welcome. It's good to see you. Whoa, all of my messages just filtered out. What is going on with chat? Hang on, let's just look at normal chat. Oh, they're all there. Ninja just filtered all my messages out. Weird. I
Axe.
think there might be something going on with...
Brian's right. I always forget that.
yeah, I often have to look that kind of thing up.
Received.
Do I want a phase beam? What have I actually got that much space? Probably not, considering I want to get all of my... I want at least one more of those. I might need to try and get some... Actually, I do have at least one starship. It's not in here. Did I put it in my ship, I wonder? In my freighter? I do have at least one starship expansion slot, I think. Unless I put it in order to increase my rebuy value at some point on another ship. This be where the matter beam would be useful, but I think it would be a bit ridiculous to go get it in this challenge. It would just take too long. Right, one more hyperdrive module, and then we should be able to jump a lot further. I probably won't try and min-max it.
9772 says, gonna be in lurk mode, enjoying the stream.
What you mean is you're going to go back to lurk mode because we didn't know you were there until you told us.
Axon Ignition says, LOL, that's funny. Ninja thought this creator's spamming his own stream. Not allowed.
What's that about? Oh, but my thing on the Ninja. Yes, sorry. There it is. Right, so let's put those a little bit more sensible. I can't even remember my... Oh, that's that. Oh, I thought there was a... There it is. So... 1955.0. That looks higher. That there. Usually you would put these three. So that's Supreme. No, that isn't the Supreme. That's the Supreme. Because this is slightly too far away. Right, what's the highest? 262, 224, 226. So that one should be in the middle. And then, have I got anything else? Yes, I've got the emergency warp unit, which does give us a little bit. So we need 2 microprocessors and a warp cell. And we need 2 microprocessors. And then we can put that. Hypercluster or 3, so we might as well go in. Oh, I've just put the wrong one in. What am I doing? I want that. Before I had the things. Right, that might be the best we can do with the current slot layout, but I'll just double check. Swap. They're going to be the same. Just put that there just in case. 1944.2. Got that slightly further. We don't have any other supercharged slots. 2010.9. 2055. Yeah, that's better. Okay. That one's 226. That one's 224. Yeah, that actually that might give me a slight advantage there. No, it didn't change anything.
Says, your chair back blocks the hyperdrive range. What's the range?
Right, at the moment the hyperdrive range is 2055.4. See if I can put it into small, whether that will change it. Not quite, it doesn't, so it doesn't really make any difference. Which is okay. It's not phenomenal, but it's okay. And it's enough for what we want, I think.
Graf Nord says, That's pretty good for missing 2 SC slots.
Yeah, it'd be nice to maybe get a few more slots.
Technology recharged.
Right, so we will continue on our journey for now, and then we'll worry about getting the hypercore.
Lava Lamp 6410 says, "What game is this? Is it any good?"
I'm not enjoying it, Lava Lamp. Maybe I need to put a few more hours in. We're doing a rather ridiculous challenge that I made up. I think that's probably the furthest. And we're kind of in the final throes of it. And in episode 8 of usually between 2 and 3 hour streams. I might as well do this until we run out of fuel, and then we'll worry about the hypercar. Just break up the journey a bit.
Axon Ignition says, "Pharaoh, you better tighten your laces, belt and headband. It just got serious." Lava's here. Hello,
Yeah.
Lava Lamp 6410.
One of those streamers has probably got more hours in the game than I have. Maybe track how close we are to the centre just out of interest. But let's go through this one and then we'll find out.
Axon Ignition says, "Nobody wants to see that loose-limbed gameplay, where you keep dying on Sorry, Chief."
Did I die twice or once at the beginning of this challenge? I can't remember now. I think it was twice, wasn't it? So where have we got to? We've got 64, so we're still okay, and we're about 4. Well, that isn't the distance. The distance is 667.5. Right, center.
Axon Ignition says, "We won't mention how many times you died."
Too late.
Yes, it's twice.
That one's out of range, so that one will do. Keep going until we run out of fuel. I don't remember how many times I've used the black hole path to get into the center. I think it's only been about 3 or 4 times, so I can't remember exactly. Remember the first time I ever did it, I did it with a living ship. which obviously made fueling a lot easier. I should pay attention to what my actual range is. I think I've got a bit further, depending on... No, can't quite do that one. Maybe I'll do that one though. Any theories on what Cosmos will be, Lava Lamp, if you're still there? Or are you one of these people that doesn't speculate?
Axel Ignition says, is Lava Lamp 6410 still here? If yes, what?
Me and Ignition are just twins sometimes. He was probably typing that just as I was saying it. Happens occasionally.
Axel Ignition says, yes, I was typing it.
See, as you get closer to the centre, you start to see that these have been discovered already because people have used these paths. Before we go through, let's see how long ago he... Oh, these are remove systems. 6 years ago, Mr. Top Hat.
Lava Lamp 6410 says, been thinking about it, but no idea. Personally, I want frigates we can pilot and warp to other systems, but don't think we will ever get that.
I think they have to do something with frigates to be a complete game. I was talking about this before in one of the speculation sections of one of my streams. That frigates do need something, even if it's just a crew on them. That would be nice. They feel like a forgotten part of the game. We only ever really go on them early on when we're having to fix them. They feel like the perfect place to have different types of missions. Have a mission board on them that actually is related to, as you say, warping with them, using them in some way. Maybe exploring. Wouldn't be able to land with them, obviously. I think they would be the ideal thing for system exploration, though. Even if we only could program them for what we wanted them to do, other than expeditions. If we could say, go look for this thing, go look for that thing. If there were things worth looking for, of course. Which hopefully with a space update, we will get space things that are worth looking for. So, it could work. Doing with my 50. I've got quite an efficient fuel usage here.
Axel Ignition says, a line in Murray's interview was only 1% of Euclid's been discovered. I have a feeling that he's about to change that with Cosmos.
It's such a strange thing to say that in less than 1%, because it's like it's less than 0.0000000, however many noughts before you get bored. Percent. I mean, we'll never get to 1%. Then if he was talking about Euclid, I mean, it's still a lot. I'd like to know how much of Euclid's been discovered, if it's measurable.
Axon Ignition says. That's why I think he's about to change that with Cosmos. Why mention this, unless he was just in awe, as he is, quite often.
But then, what would change that? I mean, you could change it by bringing even more systems in, but I don't feel like this is the update for even more systems. Even though it was one of my earlier speculations about what could happen, I think the name Cosmos is just suggesting space stuff to me. I don't think they would. I suppose new systems is kind of space stuff, but depends how heavily themed it's going to be, I guess. It feels like Cosmos is like worlds only for space. That's what it feels like to me. That's what the name would mean to me. So give us new freighter layouts, which I feel like is definitely happening because of the problem with being able to... I feel like being able to land our corvettes properly.
Axon Ignition says. That's a good theory, worlds for space.
Hang on, my alarm's
Cosmos.
coming on. So that's telling me that we are about an hour in and we should be talking about my discussion points. So let's just finish this. I set the alarm because I'm only doing a shorter stream. I was worried I might end up doing it far too late. So wherever we end up, I'm going to call this black hole destination. Is it 5 we're up to? My markers. Is it a yellow star? Yes, I think they always go to yellow stars. Okay, so in the last 24 hours, we've seen a very strange thing that I wasn't expecting. I mean, it's not that strange, but I wasn't expecting it. And that is the No Man's Sky game trial for Switch. Now, I'm not even sure if this is for just Switch 1 or Switch 2 because of the way it's worded. I don't know. I would have thought it would be for both. Some people have very confidently said it's only for Switch 1, which I would have thought would be very weird. So it'd be interesting to see what happens when we get to that date. So what are we on now? We're on... Oh, my watch is a little bit... So that's tomorrow it starts. So Switch will be free to play on the free game trials between the 20th and the 26th. Which to me suggests that we won't get the update before the 26th. So that's the first thing that jumps to mind. It's like, well, okay, if we're not going to get the update till the 26th, 26th is a Wednesday. Does that give us a clue as to when the update will be? Or does it mean that it will be the week after that? It's difficult to tell. Second thing it makes me think is, would they go back to Switch 1 and actually try and bring it further up to the standard of other platforms? For instance, as Ignition was just saying about when...
Ignition says, is this Nintendo's doing or HG's initiative?
I suspect you can't do this without permission from the... without permission from the developer. So it has to be at least in conjunction with Nintendo. I also suspect that Nintendo really like No Man's Sky on their platform because it shows what the Switch is capable of, because you would never have imagined when they brought this out that it was even possible to run No Man's Sky on the Switch 1, but obviously you can play it on the Switch 1. It's just a few limitations. But as I say, Sean mentioned that he didn't like platform fragmentation and he didn't want player fragmentation. And so he didn't want, for instance, to have paid DLC for updates, because it would mean that people were on different versions of the game, and he liked the idea of everybody being on the same version of the game. So much so that he said he didn't really want to know how much money he's actually turned down by not having paid DLC for updates, because if he knew that, it would make him feel bad, because it's probably a lot of money. But I can't help thinking that if you don't like player fragmentation, then you have to have in the back of your mind that Switch 1 has been left behind with things like multiplayer and settlements. But that's all really. Everything else kind of works.
Lavalamp 6410 says, I'm not on X Twitter, so never see any emojis unless someone posts the link in Zine's Discord.
I'm not on Twitter either, and I never see the emojis unless someone posts it on Reddit. But would it be possible? I mean, for instance, Corvettes weren't available on Switch.
Axon Ignition says, NMS is the perfect game for Switch, can play for hours on end, in comfy.
Absolutely. Also, I think that it's the perfect game for the Steam Deck, and I sometimes play it on the Steam Deck. But it makes me wonder if, for instance, multiplayer. Now, I can imagine that Switch is not up to full multiplayer, so it probably wouldn't be able to have every single player that we can see on other platforms. But you could imagine a version of multiplayer on Switch that at least allowed you to go into, when you go to play, and no, not that. You could go to multiplayer and join a friend and at least see one other person, maybe up to 4 people, possibly. I don't know exactly where the limitation would be, but I bet it's not none. I bet the limitation of Switch is probably somewhere like 2 to 4 players maximum. So I could imagine them doing that, only allowing it through join friends, but doing it that way. And I've always felt like settlements, although they can't display the very large settlements we have, I've always thought that there could be ways of simplifying settlements.
Ignition says, All that matters is you're on YouTube. Lavalamp 6410.
That's true. Most people will mention the emoji on YouTube at some point. So yeah, I wonder if this kind of suggests that this is a Switch focused update, in that at least they're going to try and do something with Switch to bring it so to have less fragmentation in the player base. Now, I might just be completely mad thinking that, but I bet it really bugs them. For instance, look how much time they spent trying to get at least a limited version of Corvettes working. They spent a lot of time doing that. It looked like we weren't even going to get Corvettes on Switch, but then eventually they brought in a smaller version for Switch. And, well, why can't they bring in a smaller version of Settlements for Switch if they're prepared to make slightly lesser versions that at least make it compatible? And all you would really need you'd need the
Ignition says, isn't the Switch one made redundant by Nintendo?
Not really. I mean, you've got to remember that a lot of people that bought the Switch 2 then either sold on their Switch 1 or gave it to another member of their family. They don't just disappear. I mean, they're still out there. And also, Switch 1, is it still being sold? I bet it is. I'm not sure because I don't really pay attention to that kind of thing. But I also can't help thinking that one day Hello Games will be available on high current generation mobile phones. And if you're going to make it on mobile phones, you've got a different tier of potential ability there. And so you could make Switch 1 and mobile phones all on one level of ability, and then everything else on the slightly higher ability. And you could do it that way. So it wouldn't just be Switch 1 that was sitting in the limited space. It could be mobile phones as well. It's the only platform they haven't expanded to, really. The only major platform I can think of. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm being a little bit crazy here and just over analysing the fact that Switch is something they're promoting? Or do you think I might be onto something, that they're going to do a little bit of work on this and actually try and bring Switch 1 up a little bit, up to the level of, not quite to Switch 2, but somewhere where at least all of the features of the game are implemented in some way or other, that's compatible with switching out of that to a different save. So for instance, if you're on Switch 1 and you've got you're using the save system, and you also then go to your PC or your other Nintendo devices, you can at least have some level of compatibility. You can go to your settlement on both. One of them, it will look more visually interesting. On the other one, it'll be slimmed down, but you'll still have the same things.
I think your premise is pretty good, but an update designed around the Switch is sure to disappoint players on other devices.
I'm not suggesting that it would just be a Switch update. I'm suggesting that this could have been one of the things they've been working on in the background, that they bring in at the same time. And that this here might suggest that it could be part of the update. I don't know. It's just that they recently said that large point releases were things where they would take the opportunity to go onto new platforms or to develop platforms. And that isn't technically true if you look back on their list, but it's certainly the way they think about it these days, even if it wasn't true in the past. It was only really true on the Switch update, which I think was version 4, was it? So now we'll be going to the new version of No Man's Sky. I just wonder.
Lavalamp 6410 says, I think it has to be a major update for all platforms. The 10th anniversary is just too important to limit it for the minor platforms.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it won't be.
Frankly, at the point we're in today, mostly all the past patterns have been broken. No emoji, radio silence, nothing. but we know it's coming.
We do. But now we're seeing unusual things like this. It's odd. So anyway, that was just some thoughts I had. It's just, I'm not saying that the 10th anniversary update will be Switch focused in that will be what everything is. I'm suggesting it might be one of their focuses. It'd be interesting to see if they, for instance, put a little bit of work into some limited version of multiplayer for Switch and some limited version of settlements. We will see. I might be barking up the wrong tree, but if those things come into the list of the other things that they've added, I wouldn't be surprised. It would be interesting, and I know for a fact that it must rankle on them, considering they don't like this idea of the player base being divided by different technologies.
Ignition says, very unusual things. No Steam discount, free on Switch, name but no trailer, no emoji, lavas in chat. Picture.
All of these things are very strange. Right, let's go back into the game. We can continue chatting about things like that if you want, but I just wanted to get that out. I just wanted to get that out there, really. It was just something I've been thinking about. And I thought, well, in a shortened stream where I don't have time to do a very long discussion.
Lavalamp 6410 says, I'm sure there were other free trials for some platforms in the past that happened at the same time as updates.
There have been free trials for expeditions. Well, there's one of those, and I believe this isn't the first time they've done similar things for Switch, but I'm not really sure of the history of it. So yes, you're right, this isn't unique, and it doesn't prove anything at all, but it does make me wonder. I might be barking up the wrong tree. I don't know. I think that the main element of the update will be space stuff. There's no doubt about that. It's just the logical thing will be space stuff. But I can't help thinking. I don't know why we even need Starship batteries. I can't help thinking that there could be other things on the cards with that. It intrigued me enough to at least put it out there. How much hyperdrive fuel have we still got? 40%. We're not burning it quick.
Lavalamp 6410 says, I was playing on my PS4 on Sunday and Monday. It was 5 or more years since I last played on the PlayStation. Very slow LOL.
Yeah, on a PS4 I bet it was. This is the thing. I mean, it is showing its age in the fact that so many things have been updated, and it does put strain on the other hardware. But then, when's the last time you stripped down your PS4 and got all the dust out of it? And otherwise, you know, it's one of those things as well. Is your PS4 still in the same state as it was? Do all of the chips technically need better? What's it called? The stuff that you put between it and the processor and the heatsink. What's it called? The completely forgotten the name. You know, there's PS4s are getting old now, aren't they? When did they come out? What year did PS4s come out? Must have been around the same time as No Man's Sky, surely, because of the whole release thing.
Graphnort says, firmware updates.
Firmware updates. No, I'm thinking of like, it's so completely out of context with what I'm doing right now. My brain is not letting me even think of the word. CPU, cooler, stuff between that you plaster on it to make the cooler more efficient. Goes off after a while. If you were going to refurbish a PS4, you would probably change it. What's the liquid called? Thermal paste. That's it. It finally came to me after describing it to myself. To answer that, it's just going to wind me up otherwise.
Lavalamp 6410 says, I went on to PC after my PS4 cooling fan failed. It took about 3 months to repair it.
Yes,
I got the
precisely.
gaming laptop about 3 weeks into the repair and never really played on PS4 since.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any reason to, would there? It's PC is definitely the superior version of the game. That's probably as far as I'm going to get. So, Gravnor, you said that you had an average for how far your jumps were taking you when you went to the centre. What was your black hole average? Because I haven't been tracking it, obviously. I've been chatting. So how, in your journey, because it's going to be different for everybody slightly, do you remember what your average was for how far we jumped towards the centre each time we went through a black hole? So we're
Graphnort says,
8,000 on the fourth save. I didn't do the calculation.
do the
Fair enough.
calculations for the last save, but it was even longer.
Why am I reading it out when Cleo's reading it out? I don't know. $8,000's pretty good. So that's for each jump and then black hole we're doing. If we say it's similar, then it's going to be nearly 10,000. Not quite. Because I seem to be reaching my limit around about 1,800, 1,900. Because we can't be that picky. Well, this one's slightly more. The black hole systems are never going to be the ideal amount away for my jump range. I figured that I would run out of fuel by now, and I'd be doing the next step of trying to get the exocraft.
Says, the fourth save took 83 black hole jumps.
Am I right that we start slightly further out on if we start with permadeath? I think we do. If we start in a like a survival mode or above. Oh, out of jump range already. What's going on here? I'm not going to be doing Dreams of the Deep no matter how much you nag me. Menus, 20%, so we're nearly running out. We might be able to give one more jump. Another one further that I can reach. I think that might be too far. Slightly too far. Can somebody retest that class, exclamation mark class? Because it didn't work last time, and I couldn't see anything wrong with the settings. Yeah, it worked that time.
Graph Nord says, class.
Yeah, class works, rules isn't set up.
Graph Nord says, rules.
I figured if I said rules and I was doing a different challenge, then it would be
Says, okay. We thought it was rules last stream.
okay, that might have been it, because I couldn't remember if it was class or rules last stream either. So have I run out of fuel? No, it looks like I can do one more jump at least. So that might have been it. Can we get to that one? Looks like no, just out of jump range. Tritium hypercluster there. Crashing into the stuff. We still do a jump. Yes. Really are quite efficient on this setup. 17. Might be able to get to the next one. 18. That's, oh, that one's just tantalizingly close. But no cigar. So 10%. Surely we can't jump on 10%. Yep, we can. Okay. I'm beginning to think it's not really worth getting the hypercore. If we can jump this far on I don't think it was even a full. I'm going to do it anyway, just to break up the stream a bit and make it a little bit, not just jumping for 80 odd jumps like we were saying. I'm sure we'll finish this challenge the next time I stream. And I don't think I'd have a chance to finish it today. I've only got half an hour left, so might as well break it up with something. 15. Must be something that's too far away.
Graph Nord says, yeah, you're almost done. Next stream will be the end.
Yeah, so the only real thing that I would want to do, just to break it up a bit, get that hypercore thing, and then I can just, like, I probably only really need to make about 4 or 5 hypercores. And it'll probably take me all the way to the center. Probably I don't even need that many. Right, can we still jump? I'd be amazed if we can. Yes, we can. So that answers a question I've had for a long while in the back of my head and never really tested. Whether fuel efficiency also counts for the jump itself. I've always assumed that it would just be a certain amount that
Graph Nord says,
that was the default.
it only took me 6 refills including the final core jump.
Yeah, and we've done... I wasn't even full, was I, when I started? I don't think I was at 100%. If we work out a new challenge, there's no way I'm going to do jump to the center again, though, because it would be a little bit repetitive to do it in 2 different challenges. Hyperdrive has no fuel. So what did we get down to? We got down to 0. Blimey. Okay, so next, well, we might as well make a little bit of fuel. So I haven't got enough to make 2. Fair enough.
Technology recharged.
Call in my freighter. Check. Probably need that. Probably nothing else in there I need. Not particularly stormy. Right, now I've... Oh, hang on, let's get this out. I haven't got a way of saving here, but I need to save and take a very quick break. Okay, I will be right back. If I can find my be right back button, there it is. Don't know why I'm getting 2 sounds for the transition. Something's odd. There's always something that's slightly confusing me on my setup. But what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to a space station. I'll rename this system as well. If I can. Yeah, I can. Black Cold Destination. Is it 6 we're at? I have a feeling it's 6. 4. Well, it's the higher number anyway, so that'll do for now. I'm going to go back to my very first base to build a exocraft. And then I'm going to go to that indium place, and because that was activated, and that will give me some. Oh, I need to do two. I need to do this in order. First of all, go back to the base and get a exocraft. Then go to a couple of factories, and then go to my Indian base.
Lava Lamp 6410 says, I'm taking off, 11.10 p.m. here.
11.10. Good night, Lava Lamp.
Lord says, Sigh Lava.
Thanks for popping in. Right, so
Axon Ignition says, Good night Lava.
so I want the hot one. I need one more hermetic seal. So I need some more condensed carbon. Why haven't I got condensed carbon on me? So condensed carbon here is... I've got no carbons left at all. Have I been using it all? Certainly looks like it. Alright, we'll just make some carbon then. Did I collect my oxygen? Yes, I did, but I'll collect some more. I need 30. Okay, so that's installed. So we can now at least move around the activated planet. We We have a bit of protection from it. When we're out of our car, we just have to watch out for tornadoes.
Technology recharged.
I'm going to go to my other base, eggs, which we never did use for eggs, but I did think that would be unlikely. Get a bit more oxygen. It's... Come on, get through. It's not going to let me through that gap. There it is. Well, this is an extreme storm as well. Maybe I should just do it here. I don't see. Maybe they're just not close to me. Let's get in my ship and have a look around. Not seeing any storm crystals anywhere. No. What kind of planet is this? Scalding rainstorms. Flourishing. Maybe it's not because it's a moon, is it?
Technology
AI base. Now, the first thing I need to do if there's a storm here is jump in my ship. Just to make sure. Because I haven't actually built the thingy yet.
Technology recharged.
I could just build that, I suppose. I could have just brought that with me. But oh, I haven't got the other thing, so I'm going to have to either build that or go and get it.
Warning, incoming storm.
Stand under here. don't want to be pulled out of the thing at the moment. So let's put... I haven't got quite enough of that either. So let's... Right, so I don't think I have to build that instead. I just need 2 ion batteries. I'm not going to go back to the other base just to get that. Okay, we're safe for a bit. We don't have any scanning Cyclops scope. I've only heard the one warning and I don't see any tornadoes right now, so why am I not seeing any storm crystals? Can anybody think of a good reason why I'm not seeing storm crystals? Well, this is frozen mist, so I think this isn't the ideal planet. This is a mega exotic, of course, and not all mega exotics have them. So that could be a good reason, and the other good reason for the other one could be it's a moon, but I've never thought of that before. That's activated. We'll go there. Wait a minute. Yes, I did. Did delete the bay. What I haven't done yet is actually get the recipe, but I'll have to do that second. I was going to do it in order, but I didn't. I suppose I could do that when there's no storm going on. Need many of these. Can't see any tornadoes. This is where I die. Of course, it's Extreme Sentinel.
Hostile scan detected. Reach out.
Axon Ignition says, trial by fire.
Literally.
Extreme temperature detected.
There we go. Couldn't quite get up to the right speed, but I got there in the end. Oh, I'm over water, that's why. I was thinking, why can't I go any lower? with there's cloud cover, you can't tell what you're going down to. Oh. You can though. It must be clearing. You'd never believe it.
Says, I remember building a base deep underwater. Was fun.
Right, this that was very out of the blue, deep out underwater base.
Sentinel planet.
Right, so we're an extreme central planet, so we've got to be a bit careful. But do we have a space station in this system? Yes, we do. So let's go while there's no storms. Let's go and get a couple of green charts.
Axon Ignition says, you flying over water reminded me of that, during an expedition.
Ah, I see. I just couldn't see the difference between the water and the... I thought I was looking at the sky beyond the large clouds. So I thought I was higher up than I was. I was wondering why I couldn't go down any further. So we want a factory. Or rather, we want a the other one. We need at least 3 charts. To be sure. See what the free one is. It's the wrong type. Not the free, but you know, it's near enough free. Green. Let's get a 4. And then my starship. Operation Center. We want the other one. Manufacturing facility. Still probably have a pea shooter for a weapon, don't they? Surprised they have a Gravitino coil. That must have come with the weapon. If we get this wrong, we might have to do a couple, but we need 2. My entry into the facility has been interrupted. An automated maintenance routine. The terminal flashes a warning message that we can't read. Fragmented file appears to have frozen the system. The machine is stuck in a loop trying to access it. I'm going to delete it. Manually deleting the corrupted file appears to free the machine from its degenerate loop. Then new recipe. I need that to get to it. other time. Supply depot is not what we want. I was right to get 4. Anybody wondering why we're doing this, as part of the rules that in this challenge is that we're not allowed to use the terminal in the anomaly, so we have to come to manufacturing facilities to unlock these recipes. And hopefully I don't have to do it again if I get the question wrong. There's the door. Ah, there it is. Okay, I must have run out of ammo. I approach the terminal. It flashes the expected security alert, but alongside is a warning I have not seen before. Small creature scrambled. Oh, this is not. This doesn't give me one, I don't think. Oh, my 2 hours are up. I can't remember. Yes. I send a surge of highly acidic cleaning fluid through the pipes. The creature is swept away. I hear a faint hiss as it bubbles away to nothingness. The system comes back online. What a lovely image. Normal operations have resumed. Yes, we can get one. So, learn a new recipe. Hypercore. So, with a hypercore, we can turn antimatter and storm crystals into full fuel, which is why we did it. Yeah, I think that was all of my storm crystals. There's a storm coming. However, I'm now into the 3rd hour and I have places to be. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, unfortunately. I've been Pharaoh. Travel well and goodbye for now.